Patch 12.20 might legitimately be the patch that saves League of Legends, and that's not because of any balance change that Riot made or any buffs or nerfs to any champions or a change that makes gameplay more interesting. Instead, it's one change to the behavioral systems that, in my opinion, is actually going to save this game. And they did so with this sentence right here: zero tolerance language will not be detected live and in game. When detected, these messages will not be sent to other players. The offending player will be system muted and all players will be notified. There's three very important takeaways from this language that all work together to make this maybe the most significant change to League of Legends in, I don't know, maybe years. First, the zero tolerance language being detected live and in game. This means that you no longer have to wait until after the game to report a player. There's no risk that a player goes silent for the rest of the game and teammates just forget to report. And it means that punishment/feedback is instantaneous. You're not waiting until after the game or when you log in later to find out that a player is getting punished for something that they're doing. And since you're seeing teammates or opponents getting punished in real time, you have an incentive to not act in the same way. This is going to reduce toxicity by a lot. Number two, when this language is detected, the player's message will not be sent and the offending player will be system muted. Now this is very important because they're not just going to be chat muted, they're going to be system muted, meaning there's basically no way to get around that. They're going to be muted in post game. And there are reports that players who get system muted might also not be able to see the in-game chat, though this has been disputed. But if it is true, then that means that players who are toxic are going to lose the ability to get important information. So there's again another incentive to not act in a toxic manner or you're going to lose information. But the third and the biggest piece of this, all players will be notified. That's right, every player in the game, including the enemy team, is going to find out if you've been muted. Now, this is important for a few reasons. Number one, the offending player knows that they have been muted. They know that the other players on their team can't see their messages, which means there's no incentive for them to type. Number two, because pings will automatically time out if you spam them, it's going to make the player be more judicious with how they ping and how they communicate. But number two, because everybody in the game is being notified, it plays off of one of the most core human emotions in order to make punishment more effective.
Shame. 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 Shame.
Now, why do I say that this is the feature that's going to save League of Legends? Well, I don't know if you heard this, but North American professional League of Legends teams kinda suck. And a big reason for that is that our region has a very low solo queue population. We have a lot of players, but most of them don't play ranked. They prefer to play normals, ARAMs, or just the flavor of the month game modes. And even though League is huge in China and Korea and even Europe, in North America, it's kind of hit its peak of popularity with things like Valorant coming along and kind of usurping it. League of Legends isn't adding new players to its player base in North America, and it's not converting those players who are already playing into playing solo queue. And as a corollary to that, Riot Games isn't able to make as much money off of North American players because there's not as many of them and they're not playing as much. And a big, huge reason for that is toxicity. And I am not talking about the guy who follows the jungler around and steals their camps or the guy who goes smite singe support. I'm talking about the traditional toxicity, the people who spam in chat KYS. League players will disagree and call me soft for saying this, but those are the people who are preventing this game from growing in North America. And if you don't believe me, think back to about a year ago when a little show called Arcane blew up the media landscape. I mean, it was one of the biggest shows on Netflix. Huge interest from players who don't even play League of Legends. People fell in love with the characters, the settings, the design, and the structure of the story, and it made a lot of people think, hey, want to play League of Legends? I know I personally showed this show to a bunch of friends who had never played League, who loved it and thought, hey, maybe this is a game worth playing. And do you want to know the most common refrain to people who hadn't played League of Legends but saw Arcane and asked if it was worth playing? The fact that League of Legends has a reputation for being so toxic is an absolutely huge detriment to its popularity and has prevented it from growing in North America. The fact that the intellectual property underlying the game got so popular and the player base didn't change one iota had to be massively concerning to Riot. If this game is to survive, Riot really needs to clean up League of Legends' reputation as being a toxic game with a toxic community. Remember, they're not making money off of the people who are already playing 12 hours a day, the streamers and the pro players. They're getting the skins for free. They've already sunk their costs into this game. They want to attract new players and get players who are playing casually to play more and spend more money on skins. Criticize it if you want. That's the business model that Riot Games has gone for, and that's the only way that League of Legends is going to survive. And I have absolutely zero doubt that these changes in patch 12.20 were aimed directly at that.